Maneva na say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there osia dem yopo.
I wish your show. This was the statement that was released based on which the decision was taken. Okay, thank you. So let me try and read it from the screen. With the firm support of the President Mahama, I have carried out the following drastic and decisive actions following the damning findings of the special audit team I put together a couple of months ago to investigate alleged corrupt practice at the Ghana Embassy in Washington, D.C. So the immediate dismissal of Mr. Fred Kwarteng. Mr. Fred Kwarteng was a local staff recruited on August 11, 2017. Who was at the ambassador at the time? August 11, 2017. To work in the embassy. Is it not?
No, but someone sent you contrary information to this.
Who is that?
You just read contrary information to when he was recruited.
The contrary
information? Yes, but doesn't mean that I can't read this.
No, what I'm saying is, so let's reconcile the two.
I've read that statement.
Yes.
Well, let me read this.
No, before you read this, when an embassy releases a statement, you don't get an NPP member to come and give you contrary information. It is either Mr. Fred Kwarteng who has the capacity to give
a contrary
speaking.
Yes, but Mr.
information.
Yes, but
he himself has been
wait,
speaking.
let me finish making my point. Or maybe the former ambassador. You don't just bring an NPP person to say
but I'll
someone.
I'll still read anyway. So let me go.
Who is that someone?
Okay. So let me.
Hey.
Yeah, Semo. So let me continue. This one says that.
Oh, really?
WithLawuratu, August 2017, to work in the embassy IT department according to the findings and its own administration, he created an unauthorized link on the embassy website which diverted visa and passport applications to his company. Now, Ghana Travel Consultants, that's a GTC, where he charged extra for multiple services on the blind side of the ministry and kept the entire proceeds in his private accounts. His illegal extra charges, which were not approved by the ministry and the parliament, are required under the Fees and Charges Act, ranges from $29.75 US to $60 US per applicant. The investigation revealed that he and his collaborator operated this illegal scheme for at least 5 years. So from 2017 for the 5 years, within the period of 5 years, who was the ambassador? This conduct has been reported to the Attorney General for possible prosecution and retrieval of funds, obtained through fraudulent schemes. And all ministries of foreign affairs staff posted to the Washington embassy have also been recalled home with immediate effect. The embassy's IT department has been promptly dissolved. All local recruiter staff at the embassy have been suspended. And the Auditor General has also been invited to conduct a forensic examination of all transactions and to determine the total cost of this elaborate fraudulent scheme. Ghana's embassy in Washington, D.C. shall be closed down for a few days from today, as we finalize the ongoing restructuring and system overhaul. And any inconveniences is, radical measures may cause visa and passport applicants is regretted. So obviously, if you wanted passport within that period, you have to go to a different embassy. So okay, that's about it.
And you see, the same way we have issues and we have complaints in our institutions. And I'm saying this because Beatrice mentioned that Washington is not the only point in the U.S., for instance. Right. We have embassies across the country. I wish your show was a phone. You had a phone-in session. And you open it up for people living abroad or people who have had experiences with our embassies. I mean, people do the best that they can do. But like in every establishment, there are always bad nuts. There are people who try to take advantage of the systems and all that. I had an experience with a relative at our mission in New York. And before that, I'd heard people say, oh, I paid, I didn't get a receipt.
Visa.
I paid my passport was supposed to get to me at a particular time. It didn't get to me. I had to follow a relative to the New York office. And I ended up meeting the person in charge of the mission, like the public servant in charge of the mission. Sometimes we need to be able to communicate some of these things. How many embassies is the Foreign Affairs Minister going to shut down to deal with some of these systemic changes? That's why you keep reviewing your systems and upgrading them.
Really?
You get it? It's not a matter of just sacking. So at the end of the day, if you close and sack everybody and take new ones, how many foreign service staff do we have? You end up coming for the ones you sacked before into another mission. So if we are going to do a holistic review and strengthening our systems, that should be it. Not this knee-jerk reaction of just shutting down an embassy just because there's an issue. And that is not to downplay the issue that is. And the gentleman himself, I'm told, has been speaking.
So we're told that he spoke with Obi.
Yes.
Brian is saying that he spoke with Obi and he has denied all the...
I haven't listened to him.
But that's not how to solve these problems. Your denial does not necessarily settle the matter.
No, but Annie, an investigation has gone on, right? There's suspension, there's closure of the thing. And the minister himself thinks that it's his Facebook page that he should be communicating these things. No matter how wrong the person is, you have to go through some of the... No, please. Beatrice, don't do
no,
that.
the way you make it look like
you're no longer in the
minister.
No, you're presidential staff now.
I urge you to follow.
You get it?
To
so
follow
the gentleman
President
is talking
Obama.
Everything is all over the media. So he also needs to come out. But what I know, especially in diplomatic side, you give the person a hearing. Has he already been charged with whatever he's alleged to have done? What are the punitive measures
you heard
for
what
that?
I read? That the
get it?
The Attorney General has been giving the doses to deal with it. So I mean,
so that is the approach to go. But if you go talking, the person will also be forced to come out and talk as to what he's saying.
So he shouldn't have spoken
as to the veracity.
Yes.
No, but
That's
I think that apart from letting us know that this has happened, I think that until you are sure of what the conclusion is, some of these talks should be limited. Now the Attorney General has been given the thing.
Accountability.
After letting us know, how should he have done that?
How should he have done
without
what?
using Facebook? Without using...
No, listen, Annie. You found that something was going on. And like I said, the investigation, from what I gather, has been going on for some time because the complaints were becoming way too many.
In fact, Kofi Tonto even granted an interview.
Okay.
And said
I
that...
listened to Kofi.
Yes. And said that the guy, Kofi Tonto, suspected that the guy was doing something. So he also started an investigation before you guys left office.
So investigations have been going on. Yes, you've come. It is... then what do we say about it? And like I said, let me emphasize this before anybody thinks that I'm condoning bad. If the gentleman has done wrong, he must face the music. Anybody who shortchanges this country must face whatever the consequences are. But everybody, like we say, and Beatrice is sitting here, what do the lawyers say? Everybody is innocent until proven guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction. Right. So this is what has been unearthed at the Washington mission. This gentleman is involved. Whatever it is has been given to the Attorney General's department. He will have his day to explain it. I haven't listened to whatever interview he's granted on it, but definitely he also has something to say. But if it comes out that he's done what he's done and shortchanged this country, whatever punitive measures need to be applied, whatever sanctions need to be applied. But if you're going to be shutting down, and that's the thing, if you're going to be shutting down embassies like this, how many are you going to shut down? How many people are you going to be taking there?
Aged diplomats.
Yes.
Prior to this matter.
Okay.
Who have also explained to me, in fact, having worked in DC,
okay,
they've explained to me how far people can go
okay,
in, having their way around the system. And one is telling me that the gentleman is not being truthful. But you see, it's not his word.
I haven't listened to him. I've heard he's had an interview.
It's neither his word nor not his word against the foreign ministry.
Okay.
The foreign ministry has come up with allegations. All they have to do is to investigate to the latter so that we come to a conclusion. Well, he has a freedom to, speak and deny.
Of course.
And we don't have the right to even condemn him.
He's on the line.
Yes, exactly. So that's about what
But you see what you said. You see what you said defeats Beatrice's thing of saying that it's been happening for 5 years and nobody did anything. So this is wrong.
Beatrice was trying to say,
so you see, this is something that from what you say, from these experienced diplomats, people have been finding ways around our systems for a long time. And that is where making sure that we strengthen our systems come in, rather than just shutting down embassies. You get it. You can never get my argument. You refuse to get it.
I mean, I don't want to belabor this point because I want us to have enough time for my favorite
then let's take a breather.
friend, Wontumi. But let me diffuse two wrong assertions.
Beatrice, you leave the presidency to come and sit here just to talk about Wontumi.
Some misconception that Lawuratu wants. See, Facebook post of any public figure is as good as any official interview or even official statements issued on letterheads. Facebook posts the world over with countries with bigger economies. Their presidents and leaders are using Facebook, X, and other forms of social media to communicate to the citizens. It is, in fact, the first basis of accountability. Yesterday, all the newspapers you are reviewing today will not capture the news as it happened this morning at 6 a.m. In fact, even for the radio stations, they may not have been able to verify it at the time of their 6 a.m. news. And so new media is a medium that many public officers will use, and also in line with accountability. So let Lawuratu probably is old school. Let nobody tell you that when a minister makes a post on Facebook, then the matter is trivialized. In fact, it is incorporated in accountability. Why do media houses boast on the number of personalities they are able to interview? Today, we are having to hear those people. So that first leg of the argument, I think we should discard it.
In fact, you can be sued.
And then she says that, please, let me finish my argument. You've spoken, sir. Now she says that, because there are so many things happening, the minister should not solve one that came to his notice and he took steps. Why is it that my friends in the NPP like condoning corruption and the wrong things like that? You should be the first people saying that, no, this is wrong. And this is not an NPP NDC thing. This is Ghana's mission in DC. If you live in DC, you would know that the gravity, DC is the biggest mission in the United States. And so if something as serious as cloning a website, directing public funds for private gain, or they have diverted so much public funds for private gains that the lines have been blurred, they don't see anything wrong with it. The gentleman has not even been arrested for us to say that maybe his rights are being trampled upon or what. An employer has the right to terminate the employment of an employee at any time as long as the necessary notice has been given. So let nobody give the impression that this thing should not, and you know, in very recent times, I've heard them say that, nobody is condoning wrong thing, or nobody is condoning corruption. Then they will continue, but we are only saying, what are you saying? What are you saying? Are there contrary facts to the fact that the website was cloned? Are there contrary facts to what we know that people and everybody in the embassy is compromised?
In the gentleman's line of denial, I expect that he provides
nobody. See, even when the person is caught in flagrant delicto, in the process of committing the crime, nobody will say, even lawyers, we advise you to say not guilty for a purpose. So merely because a person comes to say that I'm not guilty does not mean that the facts are wrong. It could be that these are the facts, but that was not my intention. Those are different things. And so we must be worried when something wrong or when something is done in our country, outside our country, and it's done wrongly. Then you can say that, okay, maybe we disagree or we think that you should have taken this measure. But let nobody gaslight us this morning that merely because a minister spoke to the citizens, the people who pay his salary, that this is what is happening, this is the measure, and this is what I intend doing, then he is trivializing it. They don't like Okujato for oral, but oral has come to stay. And it will stay with both NPP appointees and NDC appointees. That is the freshness that we have brought into this government. Okay. That is the conscience of saying that we cannot always be, measuring in the minor. What you should be asking are whether public funds were indeed diverted and whether or not the people are beneficiaries. If you say that you have contrary facts, I'll sit back and listen to you. But you don't say that the minister should not have used Facebook, he cannot use the things he used to do in opposition. The things he used to do in opposition got him into power. So maybe the citizens like that approach. Maybe the citizens want a different approach. And the foreign affairs themselves admitted that this is a radical approach because from what we are saying, we cannot do what has been done every time
and get different results.
When you came to power, all the
things you see, why is it that where there is a elephant family, they always find themselves in corruption and not allow for investigation? So the issues are not small ones. So they are big ones, which really affects majority of suffering Ghanaians. Why? Oh, why? Indulging in indulging corrupting practices at home and in the USA too. Never again. You say, okay. I was asking Brian for something, but he says he doesn't have it. He says that people who should know, Brian said, people who should know better and do better on TV and destroy others with their one-sided stories. If a man has done anything wrong, he should be charged. The NDC cannot govern with propaganda. Samuel Bryan is, but you see,
no.
My question is,
yes.
How do you charge somebody if you don't investigate the person? If you don't do findings, these are the findings. These are the preliminary findings.
Yes, but before you bring the findings and everything, and the charge and everything, you also need to be careful what you speculate. Okay. Look, public service, and Beatrice, this is what you need to understand. Running a private sector business and communication is totally different from public service thing. Honey, so until early 2000s, even emails were not considered as official communications within public service. Until today, you have public institutions because of new media to make it easier to communicate to people. But even with that, they are official statements. It doesn't debar the public servant from
what makes an official statement.
It doesn't debar.
What makes an official statement an official statement?
The statements that, like this one that you've given us.
That's an official statement.
No, like this one that you've given us.
What does it have?
What does it have?
The letterhead.
What will they do? They'll put a copy of it on their page, right? Even when they write post, it comes with some sign and some authority from whoever endorsed such a decision. Such a thing goes on social media.
So the official page,
you get it.
So the official page of the foreign minister, any statement there is not
foreign minister has his own. Apart from being a foreign minister, he's an
MP.
An MP too. He's also a Ghanaian. He may have his sentiments and thoughts on other issues prior to become foreign affairs minister. But I believe, and with public service and diplomatic engagement tenets, if you want to issue things bordering on us, let it be more official than what you get it. You get it?
No, he's not.
It's not
he's
about
not
what I
willing
believe. It's
to
about
do-
standards
No,
to how you do things
you know,
with
you see,
the public
but
sector.
we-
When it comes to the
statement.
people's money and the people's
my
things.
issue is that
Yes,
why
what's
is
the
it that
issue?
we always say you can't do the same things all the time and get different results? So it gets to a point where drastic measures, like, you know, you have to be drastic and every
Our
decision.
parents will tell you that
Think-
those days you have to listen to GBC News 1 o'clock and 12
I
o'clock
told
or
you Lawuratu is old
whatever
school.
times to hear
I
someone
told you
being
she's
fired
very
and all
old
that.
school.
Today, we see people's appointment letters
No, I think
scanned
Lawuratu.
and put on social media
Yeah, so
as
then you see
communications.
an embassy shut down.
Yes,
It's the
you see
same
an
thing.
embassy shut down.
Yes.
Because of what? Because of an inconclusive investigation.
No,
So
no.
what has the gentleman been charged with?
Okay.
Okay.
What has he been charged
I
with?
don't want to respond again.
We'll take it.
I'm
He's
tired.
done A, B, C, D. He's cloned websites. He's taking monies that is due us. But what has he been charged with?
Nothing. Nothing.
What has he been charged
He's not been
with?
charged with anything.
Because if we are going to be doing this,
Okay.
like, at the end of the day, he hasn't been charged. Nothing has been communicated. He's not facing any disciplinary committee. If he has,
Okay.
we need to know
Okay.
what steps were taken. Okay, he's been found out. The investigations has revealed. What has he been charged? What are the next steps to making sure that we either retrieve what he's taken from us as alleged, or he faces the sanctions for what he's alleged to have done?
So let me read this. Musah in the UK says that, Annie, I'm really sitting here wondering if the NPP's philosophy on everything in government does have to be opposed. So here we are in an embassy in Washington. Visa racketeering is going on, and has been established that it isn't just one person involved. Annie, the other day, the NPP's Mr. Kofi Tonto, told us on Asempa Radio on the show that he personally did investigations or investigate this issue, but had to give up and back down to save his own life. So why is the NPP rep throwing a line to suggest that the foreign minister has done something wrong? And that is worse than what has actually taken place in that embassy. Okay, Annie, please tell Lawuratu that the disgrace and embarrassment is rather how they are communicating, not what the minister did. Yes. So she's talking about what she's talking about is caused by corrupt diplomats and not by the foreign minister. Good morning from Musah.
To stop to save his lives. These are people that go around our missions.
It tells you.
You get it?
It tells you.
These are people that go around our
It
missions.
tells you that it's
You
an
get it?
organized
So
crime. And organized crime, sometimes you don't even know where the syndicates are.
We have
So
another
you really
organized
will have
crime
to
to
take
discuss.
that.
You don't want us to go for.
Let's go for a breather. The variation hearing will be on the 3rd of June. So that's tomorrow, God willing. Okay, let me come to the guest straight because of time. So I don't waste time reading a lot of the write-ups. Beatrice, this is the situation. So on one hand, we hear Brian Achampo had presented some amount of money, the sureties for his bill. And then on the other hand, there was a court issue to plead for variation.
You know, for me, I just want to say that what is happening in our country today is not because anybody's right is being infringed upon. That point has to be made very forcefully, because it is a principle of our criminal justice system that everybody is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty, that all suspects have the right to be treated with dignity during the arrest and even after the arrest, and that everybody is entitled to bail, and especially when the arrest is effected without a warrant, it means that the arresting authorities have an obligation to present you before court within 48 hours for the court to either grant you bail or remand you. And I want to also say that in the matter of Wontumi, as we are discussing, none of these principles have been breached. He has been presumed innocent and he will have his day in court. His right to dignity has not been violated. I've heard in certain quarters where people say that he's on hunger strike. I can tell you on authority that the only reason Chairman Wontumi is not eating is that he says he does not trust his own party people to bring him food. Oh. And that the last time they brought him food, he and John Kuma were poisoned and he survived it. I'm telling you that on authority.
That's what he...
Yes, so he does not want to take food from his party people. So his right to dignity is being protected. In fact, he has also not been denied bail. He has been granted bail, and the record must also reflect that he was granted bail the very night or the very day that he was arrested. So it is not as if Iyoko wants to keep him there. And this is the very sad part. And I don't think that the NPP is an organization that anybody should sacrifice their intellect, their resources, their time, or anything to support. Because see, I am so scandalized at what is happening to Chairman Wontumi. Chairman Wontumi is the chairman of the NPP's World Bank until he became a microfinance in the 2024 election. Chairman Wontumi goes on air and says things that nobody can say in the interest of the party. Chairman Wontumi is one man who has insulted almost everybody in this country because of his love for the NPP. And you know what is happening to Chairman Wontumi? The only reason why Chairman Wontumi is not out of custody today, Monday, as we speak, is because various factions in NPP are using Chairman Wontumi to either test their popularity in the upcoming Flagbearership race in the NPP, or to see whether or not they are influential. And I'll demonstrate to you. You will say that, oh, but Beatrice, are you sure? I am very sure.
In fact, I'm thinking that's your deduction.
It's not my deduction. I'll demonstrate to you. And when Chairman Wontumi was arrested, immediately he was granted bail, 2 sureties, in the sum of 50 million cedis. And even before I come to the flag bearers or potential flag bearers using him to play Chaskele, I want to demonstrate to you that when you want to grant a person bail for an offense you are investigating, and you don't grant bail less the sum that you are investigating or less the value. Because, for example, if I am accused of doing something in the sum of 50 million, the moment she grants me bail of, let's say, 40 million, I can actually run away and make 10 million cedis off it by just running away. So every time, bail conditions are set to either be at par with the subject of the investigation or even higher, so that the suspect does not have any motivation to run away. And so the bail terms as was set by Iyoko were not harsh and onerous. In fact, if you listen to Akubi, who is the rightful lawyer, because these days they have more than 3 or 4 people saying that they are representing Wontumi, but we'll come there. If you listen to Akubi, he himself agrees that Iyoko has been very professional, Iyoko has been very cooperative, and in fact, as at even Friday, people at Yoko, including the boss, stayed on for hours till 8 p.m. waiting for them to come and meet the bail condition so that their most venerable and once revered governor of Ashanti region can go home. But then again,
so they were ready to grant the bill.
No, they had granted the bill. Come and meet the bill condition. As for them, they've granted the bill. And no lawyer can argue that the terms of the bill was onerous. Because we've seen bills being granted in the sum of 120 million, in the sum of 80 million. Even sometimes when you go to court, it's to be justified. So that point has to be made. But this is why I say that people who want to be flag bearers or are in the camp of flag bearers are using Wontumi's liberty to test their popularity. First, let me show you. When Iyoko granted the bill, the first move by the micro-minority leader, Afenyo Markin, was to lead the honorable members to the premises of Iyoko and to sit on the floor. For me, I was most scandalized by this action by Afenyo Markin and his fellow members of parliament.
Is it the sitting on the floor or the abandoning of parliament that you were scandalized by?
Afenyo Markin is my senior at the bar. At least he knows that sitting on the floor is not one of the grounds for the grant of a bail condition. So when you check section 96, 97 of the Criminal and Other Offences Act, Act 30, nowhere does it say that when a person is arrested by sitting on the floor, you can get the person, released. And for me, the most embarrassing thing about this is that, is this not the same Afenyo Markin who can actually file an ex parte application in the Supreme Court and in 2 hours get a ruling and an order drawn up and served on the Speaker of Parliament? All of a sudden, he does no longer have the power to go to court, this time even ex parte, to ask for bail for Wontumi. He can no longer secure a ruling of the court in 2 hours to get the venerable governor of Ashanti region, the man who flaunts gold, the man who is worth over $4 billion, and at a time wants to even buy Chelsea. Is that the value they place on the governor of Ashanti? Why do you belittle a big man like that? So Afenyo Markin all of a sudden knew that now you don't necessarily have to go to court. I'm very curious to know, and maybe you should interview him for us. Why on this note, he chose not to go to court ex parte? He could have gone to the Supreme Court.
That's his choice.
Because even where the rules of procedure does not allow, he still gets ruling in the Supreme Court. So it was my valid expectation that he will file an ex parte in court, challenging the human rights and the legality of it. All of a sudden, those powers are no longer there. Then you have Tim Baumia. Afenyo Markin belongs to Camp Kennedy, Japan.
Oh, okay.
I've heard even he wants to contest himself. I'm sure he will do his own analysis. Then you have Camp Baumia, who also, without recourse to the rules of practice, asks Gary Nimako to go to court, to go and file an application to review the bail condition, when Gary Nimako is not the lawyer on record, or at least the lawyer as known to Iyoko and the investigating authorities. And while they were negotiating, this surprise was sprung on both the lawyer and the investigating authority. Why? Because Dr. Baumia wanted the chairman of their stronghold to know that even while you are in here, I'm fighting for you. So without tact, without strategy, without recourse to legal ramification, with no finesse, howsoever described. Let's just file a process. It doesn't matter whether the lawyer has been consulted or not. And let me say that the first time Dr. Bawumia went to Yoko, he was not refused access to see Chairman Wontumi. In fact, they were told exactly what to do so that it does not cause chaos. And they went to do exactly the opposite of what they have agreed on. Yesterday, when they agreed to do the right thing, he was made to see Chairman Wontumi. Then you have their new flag bearer, Team Brian Echampon, Team Labadi Beach, or it's Lapang, saying that as for me, I am the owner of Rock City. I have 50 million. So I would also arrange for surety. The base should know that when Chairman Wontumi was arrested and is in prison, I am the one who was able, I'm sure the campaign time you will see. Yepe mema bano. Na yentimi nyobi aye na yede surety ne bae. I can imagine in the coming days how the flag bearership contest will be. Because now it's a competition of who can get the surety. And you see, in all these, back to the serious point, by their acts and inaction, they are even misleading the arresting authority. And so they are not even able to arraign Wontumi before court. Because they go like, oh, we are coming at 3 p.m.
Okay, that's
what
I wanted.
We are coming at 4 p.m. At 5 p.m., this surety will come. By the time it's 5 p.m., nobody. Even on Friday.
So this assurance is being given to the arresting authority. Is it coming from different camps, according to you?
Yes, so it depends on who wants to pull what string. But there is one assurance I can give to the people of Ghana, that the NDC and President Mahama are committed to making sure that anybody who has wasted the resources of this country is held accountable. But that accountability will be done in tandem with the tenets of the rule of law, having regard to the principles of our criminal justice system. The fear and the anxiety of the NPP is that if the NDC decides to do even half of what they did to the members of the NDC, half of them will not survive.
Okay.
Because, Annie, the things against Wontumi, they are so scary that if you look at Apia Kubi's demeanor, you can see that he's a wise lawyer. Because people are not privy to what the investigative authorities are privy to. This investigation is not only being carried out by Yoko. The FBI is also involved. It is even murkier than you think. And so Apia Kubi, being a wise lawyer, has taken a certain reconciliatory posture. He knows what Yoko knows. He knows what facts the man has been confronted with. And so, and I want to commend him, because we always say, so for instance, when you have a case that affects the liberty of your client, as a lawyer, your posturing ought to be different. If you go to court in a contempt case and you are fighting the judge, know that the judge will take out that anger on your client and your client will be sentenced. So he has, demonstrated a lot of maturity. But ultimately, this shows that the NPP is very disorganized. They are not concerned about the welfare of their members and even their party leadership. But if this can happen to Wontumi, then who else is protected? Who will be protected? Because the purpose of the visit and the purpose of wanting to see him is not because we want to see him and solidarize. It is because the party base, it is a campaign message. It is a shame. It is a shame that you have a man, and for me, everybody knows that I like Wontumi. People say he has his own excesses and all that, but for some reason, I'm amused by some of the things. You see his prayer you were playing, those Latin I'm just amused by it. So I don't have any.
But he has some wild excesses that should not be entertained.
Every human being has excesses. What we are talking about here is not, you see, he will have his day in court. He will have his day before the FBI. He will have his day to answer the question. He will have his lawyers represent him. But what we are talking about is a party that is in disarray. That cannot come together. There is no tact, there is no strategy, there is no finesse. And they just want to turn the story around and make it look like somebody is infringing on the rights of somebody. Nobody is interested. And let me conclude by saying that if an investigative authority wants to frustrate you, and they can frustrate you, if the charges against you are 15, you know what they can do? They can arrest you on one,
2 or 3.
One, even 1, 2 or 3, it is classed. 1, grant you bail. You leave the premises, you get to your house, they arrest you on the second one. You leave your premises, so for almost every week you'll be arrested. And for each, they can set different bail conditions. By the time you realize, you will not get sureties again. So nobody is interested in doing anybody or in trying to make sure that somebody's rights are curtailed. And if we want big fishes, Wontumi is not one of them.
But you can't say that, because you also indicated that one of his issues has to do with international organized crime.
Yes. The FBI.
Yes,
no, so I'm saying that this arrest is not political. It is because of an offense. And you know the funny thing, you start investigating one offense.
Yeah.
By the time you are getting somewhere, you discover a new offense. So this has got nothing to do with political cases or any political witch hunters. Even though if they are witches, we may hunt them. But that's not it.
So guess what? There's a member of your party that's very surprised and shocked at that information. In fact, he wants to know, is that so? He wants more information. And this person this is the person of Kakre Samoa. So opening Kakre Samoa, he says, I clearly heard Annie, solid Beatrice Annan, saying that Chairman Wontumi is refusing food from the NPP people whilst in custody because, according to him, the last time he ate NPP food with John Kuma was poisoned. He survived. Is that so?
Yes,
Annie.
It is so. That is the information.
Morning.
I have. So he eats just a certain category of food that he has. The opportunity is like he will prepare it from scratch, so he knows it.
Okay.
So it is not about Yoko. It is not about the NDC. It is about the NPP's own internal disintegration.
Okay. Good morning, Annie. So LawUratu is old school, eh? Now I can understand. So LawUratu likes to listen to cool music. And the gang,
I know who is sending this message.
Is it LawUratu?
Is it true?
Listen to this sentence. LawUratu, how body? You understand? Oh, you know the deal. So Ojochumbuafo is hiding in the financial, his office was?
Financial intelligence.
I would have been surprised if he hadn't sent a message. Doing his things
and sending funny messages. He says that, how body, you are glowing in opposition pink.
Annie,
Beatrice has been flowing this morning. She must have prayed in Hebrew this morning.
I promise you.
Your presentation this morning is solid gold.
Beatrice, is this your first time of serving in public service?
You always
and in government. I'm just asking. Is it your first time of serving in public service?
Do you have a contrary?
Is it your first time of serving in government? Anyway. A second is a very long time in a politician's life.
True.
And with all that Beatrice said, with the running around NPP is her first love, right? So she gives credence to the fact that people never really get her fixation with the new patriotic party.
Love, what do you mean?
That's the party she wanted to join, but faced some setbacks and ended up in NDC. She can't deny this. She can't deny this.
See that her people don't trash his NPP.
She can't deny this. And two, with all that Beatrice was saying, it's more like payback time. And you did it to me, and we are doing it. You did it to us, and we are doing it to you.
Listening.
For how long will this cycle continue?
For how long?
Until the MPs went. Come again.
Of arrests?
Yes. Until the MPs, minority caucus went to Yoko when they were insisting on the variation of the bail conditions. Nobody really knew exactly what Chairman Wontumi was being held on. And the same approach, the populist approach that appointees of this government have resorted to. The Deputy Attorney General came to write a litany of charges against Chairman Wontumi on his Facebook wall. Is this how we are going to be running our issues?
But did Yoko do this because it says...
Facebook thing, there WithLawuratu.
Sorry, did the Yoko do this?
Can I continue with
Go ahead.
I'm going. The Yoko didn't say anything. It was the Deputy Attorney General that came to run a litany of things, allegations on his wall late in the evening after the MPs had gone there. I don't think there's anything wrong in asking for the variation of the bail conditions. And I also don't think that Beatrice sitting here believes, with all her love for Chairman Wontumi, believes that he can run away if the bail conditions are varied. Right. He's being held. What happened? Why were people allowed? He was invited to come and assist the investigative body. That was the communication. And he indicated that he wouldn't be available on that day, but would be available on that particular day. The day that he was going, he was honoring that invitation. How many people did you see him go with? When did the agitation start? When he was held without any communication. And with all the allegations that are going on and knowing the modus operandi of the NDC whenever they are in government, you set a bail condition at that level with landed property. Were they looking for another case to build around him with that bail condition? That is up to them. But at the end of the day, there are rules and regulations in this country.
Are you privy to the charges?
The only thing I have seen are the ones that the Deputy Attorney General wrote on his wall.
The Exim Bank, the Cocoa
Those
Box.
are not his charges.
Well, that's what that's the Deputy Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana. He wrote it.
The money laundering.
So if you are telling me we should take
take your time.
Charges
are different from
whatever
subject matters of investigation.
Madam, go and read the post of the gentleman. Read
he
it.
Said he's been investigated.
Can I have my time?
No, but you are misquoting the learned Deputy
time?
Attorney General. I must correct you.
I said a litany of allegations that he wrote on his wall.
No, he said he said.
I said a litany of allegations.
No, she said, do you know the charges?
Can I have my time?
Then you said that.
Beatrice.
Oh, you can have your time, but
so
you just
let's
have to put it in context.
A litany of allegations that he came to write on his wall as Deputy Attorney General. So if we think we should not heed to that, let us know what it is. You've also said, sir, now you're saying what the Deputy Attorney General wrote.
That's what
it's not
you
factual.
Are not listening.
Yes. Are you listening? I'm not listening. Are you listening?
It's under investigation.
But what are they? He's being investigated on those allegations. Is that wrong?
Yes, but
so I said a litany of allegations.
So out of
I said a litany of allegations on his wall. Where are you coming from with a listen? Listen.
It's okay. You will never understand.
You can never understand. You get it. So today, you're holding him. You're talking about how it was done to people and all that. I pray one day this cycle is broken.
I haven't made reference to that it was done to someone.
This cycle is broken because we can't continue like this. And I'll always emphasize, if he's done wrong, there are laws.
So what are the laws?
I said if he's done wrong, those things, there's a process to it. But you invite someone to come and assist you and you hold the person. Definitely. He also has people that support him. They also raise questions because it was just an invitation to come and assist. And he was held on.
Okay, so number one, you don't want to be referenced of what you did in the previous administration as in NPP. Number 2, you are ready to assist in investigation, but supporters must come to the holding offices to come and protest.
Where is the NPP now? Is the NPP in government?
NPP is not.
The New Patriotic Party is
so what's your point?
in opposition, right? What does that tell you? Ghanaians were not comfortable with some of the things that were done.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
That's what people who vote against you, they're not comfortable with some of the things you did. Right? We can go from, I always say from 92. It's been NPP and NDC. We can jab each other on how this person was arrested, that person was arrested, bail condition. But to what end, at what point does it end? And you know, we have no mean a person in charge now than a president who has been there before. And similar things happen within his regime. You listen to his inaugural speech. So what meaning are they giving to the reset they promised the people of Ghana? Get it?
I want
At
to
the end of
figure
the
out
day,
what has been done.
whatever
wrong.
the conditions are, there are indications that they've been met. He'll come out on bail.
They've actually not been met as
let
at
things
this
be
moment.
done.
I have to correct that. They've actually not been met as at this
Did you
moment.
listen to me? I said there are indications that it's been met. I didn't say it's been met.
There are
No,
indications that it's
you
been
can't
met.
make that
They are
statement.
working on it. You get
Uh-huh.
it? Are you the one going to tell me what to say?
Okay,
we,
go ahead.
we are making
What is this?
indication.
You know, I can understand your
Go ahead, Beatrice, allow
excitement,
her.
right?
Which
I can understand
excitement?
your excitement, but don't know that just yesterday, 7 January, the president was sworn in. Today is 2nd June. The time moves like that.
You didn't. You got to know this in opposition. All of
The
a sudden.
time moves like that, right? No, but
When did you get to know that in opposition or while you were in government?
You see, in life,
I'm curious.
In life, you learn from your mistakes.
So you have learned.
So if you don't want to learn from your mistakes
have
in the
learned.
past, if you don't want to
I
learn
want
from your
you to
mistakes,
admit that
why
you
do
have
you become
learned.
better as a human being if you don't learn from your past
Then that one I
mistakes?
forgive you.
You need to be humble enough to learn from it, especially when you put yourself up to serve people.
Yes, please.
It's not everybody who puts themselves up to serve people.
Yes.
So this conversation about they did it and they did worse and all that, you claim to come and do better.
But even that,
Do better.
I don't play to that kind of conversation because the underpinning reasons for people's arrest differ from one person to the other.
This morning,
So
I
really
haven't even used
Beatrice is
anybody
sitting
to
down
justify.
here, right?
No, I mean,
Beatrice is sitting down here. I counted at least 3 times that she used the fact that the expression that she's scandalized. She's scandalized that the MP, and that's why I said she's justifying the fact that people actually don't fully get over their first love. She's scandalized about what is happening in the NPP. She's scandalized about the internal, but she's not scandalized about the fact that the institution that is anchoring the Ghana Medical Trust Fund had someone with fake medical credentials put on it. It didn't scandalize her.
So let me respond.
It didn't scandalize her.
She was not here when the thing happened.
She was where?
She was not on the show, so she didn't get the opportunity.
Beatrice, that's telling me old school. New school people can know anything everywhere.
No, I'm saying that she didn't get the opportunity to express her
Express
position
what?
on that.
What doesn't Beatrice write on her social media handles?
See.
Does Beatrice have to wait
So
to
that
be
one
on
Beatrice can
TV?
write on her
No,
social
no,
media.
but in what?
No, so that
is she a
Beatrice can write on her
minister? Is
social
she a
media.
minister?
Ali,
She's a
let me-
presidential staff.
Let me answer.
She doesn't
Yes,
take any decisions for us.
She's a board member of Bank of Ghana.
She's a board member of Bank of Ghana. As a member, does she take decisions for us? She's part of the process.
Annie, can
She's
I
not a
answer
decision.
now? Can I
She doesn't
answer?
take decisions
Kaka
for us.
Kosamwa says that I don't understand the interjection by Laratu. The last
What
time,
interjection?
so he said the last time.
I'm the one speaking and Beatrice is interjecting.
No, maybe he means in a different context. The last time when the AG Ayeni gave us prior briefing on Edubuahi, he was sued for defamation. What exactly does the NPP want? If you talk, trouble. If you don't talk, trouble.
So since Lawuratu is learning in opposition,
this one said that.
Let me respond.
Said that Annie. So Annie, Wontumi being pursued illegally or due process not being followed, or is due process not being followed? Article 14 clause 3b clearly states upon reasons suspicions of having committed or being about to commit a crime offense under the law of Ghana. And who is not released shall be brought before the court within 48 hours, blah, blah, blah. This one says that, Annie, good morning. Please tell the managing director of TDC to revive the Birds for Life project at the Ramsar site so that we see our fly away birds migrating back because Ramsar site is taking shape from Alhaji Haruna. I'm joining this your campaign.
Everybody.
I'll tell you. Simon says that, good morning, Annie. According to one of Dr. Baumia's aides, Mr. Kofi Tonto, the guy's fraudulent behavior or activities was brought to the attention of the former Foreign Affairs Minister and the ambassador to the USA. What measures did they put in place to stop the illegal activities of the guy in Ghana? And probably that was a question whoever was interviewing him at the time should have posed, because we want to know if there was any, attempt to correct the anomalies. Our democratic credentials are being stained by actions of the NDC, and it seems that this party don't regard our laws because of political persecution of Wontumi. It's so irritating. You didn't add your name. Please, I have just about, I don't have time.
Yes.
1 minute each.
To quote the suspended Chief Justice, the law is the law and it's the law. What Lawuratu has not been able to demonstrate is a breach of Chairman Wontumi's fundamental human rights. That she has not been able to demonstrate that. And that is the point we are making, that every loot that the NPP benefited from will be recovered within the ambit of the law and protecting their fundamental human right. Then she made a statement, I think it's in the gist, about the Andali lady being a fake doctor and me not having an opinion on it. When you want to make an appointment anyway, it is based on either recommendation and the CV. But as a sensitive government, when it comes to your notice that somebody may have misrepresented things which has not even been established.
Or you made a mistake.
Or you even made a mistake to admit that, what you do, the remedial step you take is what we should be questioning. When the thing came to the notice of government immediately took step, replaced the said young lady, and she was never sworn in as a board member. In your past, we would have found out that perhaps traditional medicine is also another form of medicine. And you will come and copiously defend it. I'm saying that the NDC government is setting new standards in government. Nobody is saying that we are angels. Nobody is saying that there will be no mistakes. Nobody is even saying that the citizens at all times will be happy with every action that we take. But we are committed to journeying this governance with the people. When you take a decision and the people say that we are not happy or we think it could have been done better, we are committed to correcting it and moving. But let me say that this does not include sitting on the floor, because after the floor you can sit on it for a long time. But so it must be refreshing for us to know, because in the past,
have you seen
when we talk about Hannah
leaders sitting on the floor? Have you seen the pictures?
Which floor? You can go on demonstration and sit on the floor. You can go, but that's what I'm saying, that the grounds for grants of bail does not include sitting on the floor.
Okay.
But demonstration, you have the right to demonstrate in any way to carry yourself.
Ambassador Idrissa, I should ask you, are you saying that Wontumi was serving Ghana?
Come again.
Was serving the interest of Ghana.
Yes.
Let me make my point.
Ghana for Monsori.
If Beatrice is talking about certain standards, right? Certain new standards, due diligence is a standard, especially when it comes to health. You can't joke with health, especially when it's that particular institution. National Health Insurance Authority is anchoring one of your policies that you promised during the 2024 campaign. referring to the NPP in the past is defeatist. Because if you claim you are coming to reset and coming to do things,
it cannot be your standard.
You can't be
of course, you are not our standard.
That is it.
No. So don't the standard you are not. Because if you are standard, the dollar should have been 20 cedis by now.
Is that
you are not our standard.
A second in a politician's life, especially when
not
in
even a politician, anybody's life.
Where she's sitting, it's a very long
everybody's
time.
life.
Okay, so she should come to the realization that even for a baby,
I'm happy you are really learning in your position.
Even if your mother is doing exclusive breastfeeding, after 6 months,
I think Ghanaians should keep
more food added.
I think Ghanaians should keep
you are growing.
So today,
know that you are in government. You are no longer
today,
in
Mr. Flagbearer is mandatorily.
Debbie Kama, Mamena Pendream TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, Pendream TV.